Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am back with my February update for Pan That Palette, or I would say Pan Those Palettes. So I've been working on 4 palettes right here in this project for almost 2 months now. I'm saying almost because I started it a little bit later in January, but I managed to make such a good progress. So I'm working on one palette from my previous year because I did not finish that completely, and all of the other ones are the ones that I brought in this year. And this is a Fantastic Ladies collab. It's a Facebook group where we vote for what kind of theme we want for Pan That Palette for this year, fun sized or pocket sized one, and I picked up 3 pocket-sized or fun-sized eyeshadow palettes to finish, along with my last year's Pan That palette, which was my Kicking It Old School. I was just using my oldest palette to finish, but I have made such a good progress. I can't wait to share with you guys. But before we do that, if you are new here, please consider subscribing to my channel. My name is Rafneet and I make a lot of panning videos. I'm wearing MAC Diva today, so this lipstick got rolled into my lip service project pan. It's in here for 5 uses. It is deep, but I'm liking it so far. Alright, so let's start with our very first palette right here. It's e.l.f. Summer Breeze, and this is the one that got rolled over from last year. My goal for this one was to clear out tiny sides that were remaining in a bunch of these eyeshadows, which I did. Alright, so let's take a look at what it was looking like last month. And this is what it is looking like today. We made such a good progress on both of these eyeshadows. I am so happy. We also expanded pans on the brown and the black one. So let's go over each shade. So the first shade in here is Warm Pink, and I used it 6 times. And I think I wore it down a little bit. And the next shade, the darker pink, is something that I used 7 times, but the progress on this one is a lot more than what we have in here, simply because the product around these edges was very thin and I was using it all over my eyelid. So that's the reason I have such a good progress on this one. And the next eyeshadow, I used it 15 times. Yes, and I think we moved down quite a lot, and I am really glad with the progress I have on the mustard shade. And the dark brown shade, I'm wearing it in my eyebrows, and also sometimes I wear it on my lower lash line or on my eyelids, and I wore it 18 times this past month. The next shade is something that's finally showing some movement. That's the black one. I reached for this one 17 times, and I think that's the reason we have some sort of pan extension going on towards the bottom for this one. Overall, I'm just so glad with the progress I'm making. I have more hope to finish these eyeshadows this year, probably, hopefully. But yeah, my goal for next month for all of these eyeshadows would obviously be to reach for each and every one of them at least 5 times. There is something else I want to show you for these eyeshadows. If you look closely, these are pretty full from these sides because I was focusing on the rest of the pan, so I did not use any product whatsoever from these edges. And the product in here is pretty full. So yeah, that's that. But we have made such a good progress on all of the other eyeshadows as well as these ones. So I'm kind of hopeful that we will knock these ones out. And that's my e.l.f. Summer Breeze. And next eyeshadow palette belongs to pocket-sized, fun-sized, and that's my Essence Ice Ice Baby palette, and this is how it was looking like last month. And I had a goal of hitting 2 pans in here. I wanted to hit 2 pans on bottom row on 2 eyeshadows on either end. I was able to do that. I also managed to expand pans on the rest of the eyeshadows. And this is what the palette is looking like. So exciting! We managed to hit humongous pans on both these eyeshadows. So let's go over each and every shade and how many times I reached for them. So the very first shade in here is called VIP, and I reached for this one 7 times in total, and we managed to expand the pan. The next shade has a massive pan expansion. Even though we used it only 8 times, it still has a lot of pan expansion because there's not a lot of product remaining in here, and whenever I use it, I use a lot of it. It's also loosely packed in there, so that's the reason it's moving very quickly. This is called Rock-a-Mike. The next one is called Vanilla Ice, and this has a huge tip going on. I used it 6 times, and this is something I would focus on to hit pan on for next update. And this is one of the newest pan we hit, and it's called 2 Gold. So I hit pan on this one after using it only 2 more times, and then I reached for it additional 9 times. So I have total of 11 uses on this, which also resulted in expanding the pan. Moving on to this one, the pan is huge. It's called I'll Glow, and I reached for this one 12 times. So most of the times I would put it in my inner corners and sometimes in the middle of the lid. But yeah, we are making really nice progress. And last one is the next pan we hit here last month, and this is called Collaborate and Listen. And I reached for this one a total of 8 times, and I hit pan on this one after using it 2 more times. So I used it 6 more times for a total of 8 uses last month. I'm using both of these very interchangeably, so these are not moving as fast as I would like them to, because the formula is not very hard pressed and it doesn't have a lot of product in each pan either. So I just want to see more movement, but again, there are only a certain number of days I can wear the blue looks, but I try to incorporate these eyeshadows as much as I can. I think for next month, I would want to hit pan on this eyeshadow called Vanilla Ice, and then I would want to repress it and then just start using it. I'll probably film myself repressing it because I also need to repress other eyeshadows, which I'll show you in a moment, and keep working on other eyeshadows in here, making sure I have at least 5 uses. And the last goal I want to set for this one is to clear out this corner of I'll Glow. So those are my goals for Ice Ice Baby. And now let's move on to the next palette, where I have my second empty of this year. So that is my Essence Bronzed This Way palette. It had a lot of progress when I rolled this palette in. I had 2 eyeshadows empty and 2 of them were very, very close to finish. This is how it's looking like today. So we managed to finish this eyeshadow called Right Track, and it only took me 2 uses to finish it. So let's go over the 3 eyeshadows that we had in here. So the first one is called Love Yourself. I reached for this one 13 times. It doesn't look like I've used it 13 times, but the pan has expanded. This is something that is very pigmented. I don't need a lot of it, and that's the reason it's not moving as fast, but it's still moving. And the next one that I finished is called Right Track, and it only took me 2 uses to finish it, even though there was still like some product remaining on the edges. I just wanted to get done with it, so I used it those 2 times to kind of blend out my outer crease with my brow bone, and also used it as an under eye setting powder, and that's how I finished it in those 2 uses, because it crumbled on the first use, so I didn't want to keep it around for longer to prevent the mess. And this one I have expanded pan again. This is called Perfect Babe, and this is one of my favorite eyeshadows. I'm not even kidding. It is so pretty, and I reached for this one 11 times. I never thought I would like bronzes that much, but Oh my god, this is so pretty. And that's all I have for this palette right here. So my goal for this one would be to, of course, reach for both of these eyeshadows at least 5 times, and I would also want to repress it. This is very creamy shade, so I don't think I'll be putting alcohol in here. I don't want to mess it up, and that's the reason I'll probably dry press it. But yeah, I will try to film it. And that is our bronzed this way. It only has 2 eyeshadows left, which is super exciting. We are already on a good start. That's the thing of kind of combining easy and hard sort of products. So for example, I rolled in something like this that had a lot of progress already, and it is definitely keeping me super motivated by seeing all of this progress. I think that's the formula as well, because Eye Size Baby palette is also moving relatively faster, so I'm really happy about that, because my last year's That palette wasn't super quick to move, but I still enjoyed working on that because I was only working on that palette alone, so I would use my eyeshadows in other projects a lot more, but I'm still enjoying all of my other projects, and this project specifically, it's so great. And it's time to move on to my last palette I'm working on. So this is the Wet n Wild Walking on Eggshells. It's a quad. I think when they reformulated their trios to quads, I think they again reformulated their quads to 5-pan palettes, but when I rolled it in intro, I just said that I want to focus on this. I don't necessarily want to finish everything in here, and probably if I'm able to hit pan on all of these eyeshadows, I'll be super happy. But that goal has changed. Now I want to finish everything. Yes. Seeing how fast these eyeshadows are moving, I think I'll be able to do it, because these are very easy eyeshadows that I can incorporate in my everyday looks along with any of my other eyeshadows basically. So that's the reason I think I should be able to finish these eyeshadows. One of them might take me a little bit longer, but I think we'll get there. So for this one, I also had a goal of hitting pan in that transition sort of shade, and this is how it's looking like today. I am so happy. Just look at the pan. We hit this pan after using it 3 more times. So the product overall was very thin, and once I hit the pan, I expanded it like crazy. You can even see there is like very thin layer of product in here. I think I'll be able to clear it out in 2 or 3 more uses. And we expanded pan on this grease sort of eyeshadow so much. The pan on this one has expanded a lot. This is what I'm putting in my brow bone. Let's go over all of these eyeshadows. So the first one in here, the transition one, I used it 20 times in total, hit pan on 3 uses and used it 17 more times. This is something that I mix with the brow bone eyeshadow, so I just do tap and then I just put it over here, and if I have to blend some crease color into my skin more, I would use this by itself, and it really does a good job of that. For this one, I had to restrict myself from using it more because I really don't want to finish it this soon. I'm really enjoying it. I think once this is gone, I would probably have to look for some other eyeshadows to replace it. And the next eyeshadow is something that I'm putting in my brow bone mixed with this thing. Sometimes I would just wear it on its own, and sometimes I wear it in my inner corners, and I used it 21 times, mostly because I use both of these together. So the pan on this one is huge as well. And let's get to this eyeshadow. So I've been using it evenly, but I've only used it 10 times. 10 times is still a lot, but compared to the uses on these two, it's not that much, but still. I used it 10 times, and this is something that I use as a blush topper sometimes. Sometimes I would put it in my inner corners, or if I want to brighten something. I don't see it moving super quickly unless I use it exclusively as a face product, which I'm not looking to do that right now because I have my highlighter in my project pan to finish. That's my Becca Vanilla Quartz highlighter. It also has like some pinkish and gold tones, and I think it competes with that, so that's why I'll wear it in some other ways. And last one is something that I used as a bronzer topper, but I would also put it in my crease. There's not a lot of product remaining in here, and I will repress this one and this eyeshadow, and I will do all of my repressing for these palettes, I think, in a single video. I reached for this crease shade 11 times in total. This is something that's moving very fast. So that's everything I have for this palette. For goals, I just want to use all of these eyeshadows at least 5 times, which I don't think I'll have any issue of reaching for these eyeshadows 5 times. At this space, I feel like both these eyeshadows will be empty in probably 3 months, but yeah, we'll see. I should set one more goal for this palette. Okay, let's do that. I want to clear this entire corner of this Pro Bone shade. So that's everything for walking on eggshells, and those are all the 4 palettes I'm working on. So let's recap the goals. For my e.l.f. Summer Breeze palette, I just want to reach for all of these eyeshadows at least 5 times each. For Ice Ice Baby palette, I want to clear corner of this eyeshadow called I'll Glow, and I want to hit pan on Vanilla Quartz. I want to repress this, and I think that should be it. Apart from that, want to reach for all eyeshadows in here 5 times. For Essence Bronzed This Way, I just want to reach for both these eyeshadows 5 times each, and will repress Perfect Babe. For Walking on Eggshells, I would want to repress Transition and Crease shade and clear out this entire corner of the Pro Bone shade. I think that should be pretty doable. Apart from that, obviously you want to use each and every eyeshadow in here 5 times at least. And that's all I have for today's video. Thank you so much for sticking with me until the end. I hope you have a wonderful day or night, depending on when you're watching my video. I will see you in my next one. Until then, take care. Bye.